Hey everyone, today creative handmade dolls Christmas vignettes using Dollar Tree foam cones. And by the way, if you're new here, I'm Tanya. And if you're returning, welcome back. And I do hope that you all like, share, and subscribe. For DIY number 1, Fiona the Christmas doll. In this design, I'm going to take one of these little pet outfits. And everyone, they have these in the plus section at Dollar Tree. They're $5. I cut off the sleeve and I'm just going to be adding that onto the foam cone. And then I'm going to cut another little piece off and we're going to make 2 little sleeves for our Christmas dough. And you can see I just cut that in half, rolled them up, and then glued the pieces down on each side. And we're going to be able to glue those right on to our little jacket. And that's going to be the arms for our Christmas dough. But everyone, you can get a lot of fabric out of these for $5, and I'm going to be creating some wonderful designs with these over the next few weeks. I took another little piece and just covered up that back part. The fur kind of blends in really well, but I enjoyed creating these vignettes so much. I hope that you're going to enjoy them today. I cut another little piece of the fur off, and now I'm just going to start making like a little cuff around the neck and just filling in all the little areas and kind of building a jacket type coat on our little Christmas dough today. Now, this is a really neat tip, everyone. You can get a lot of fabric off of these beautiful little hair bands, and I thought that I would make our little Christmas dough today look like she was wearing a gown, and we're going to display her in the woods with snowflakes coming down, and it turned out to be a beautiful vignette. Now, once I get this hair bow cut apart, you can see I'm just utilizing all the strips of fabric, and I just cut it into pieces where I'm going to be able to glue that on to the bottom part of the foam cone, and that's going to form her dress. And you will be surprised how little fabric you need to do this. If you just place it correctly on your designs, you can really make a little bit of fabric go a long way. And the trick I like to do is just really put each little piece as far apart and leave just enough room for gluing them together. Now, I use the beaded part in the front of the gown, and then we're going to take those other little strips and just glue onto the back. And with it being white underneath, that went right along with the color because it's kind of a champagne color. But everyone, this looks so pretty when it's done. I am so excited to share these with you today. I thought they were just some really creative designs that I could make with using Dollar Tree items. Now, this is the really fun part. I'm taking these antlers on this little outfit, and we are going to create the deer's head. And this was a really kind of tedious technique, but I'm going to use it to create the arms, and then we're going to make the head. Now, right now, I just cut those little antlers off of there, took the stuffing out, and then I was just kind of folding it back down and gluing it together. And you can see by the shape of it, it's going to work great to look like it's the little deer's arms coming out of the coat. Now, once I get those done, I'm just going to pop them in there because they're not really going to be holding anything much. So I didn't have to stuff them or put any kind of sticks or anything inside of them. Now, once I get that done, we'll start working on the head. Now, I'm cutting this one biggest part of the antler off. I've stuffed it really well again, and I'm going to put 2 pieces together, and one part's going to come out as the head, and the other part is going to serve as the neck to our deer. And you're going to have to just kind of glue these together, but keep in mind, we're going to be putting a hat over most of her head, so you really only need that shape of the nose part coming out to look like it's going to form the shape of a deer's head. Now, once I get that done, I'm going to be cutting off some more of the fabric, and I want to build it up around the neck area a little bit, and that's going to kind of hide that glued area around there, and just it's going to make it look a little taller because, of course, deers have kind of long necks anyway. But everyone, little Fiona here could not be cuter when I get her done. I'm really excited to share this one with you, and it was such a fun design to create, and look how she's coming together. Now I'll just finish up by adding the little scarf area around her neck. Everyone, I have 3 designs for you today, and I'll go ahead and tell you we've got Fiona, the Christmas dough, and we also have an elf and a snowman. Now I cut another little piece of fabric you can see, and I'm just shaping it to form like a little hat coming up over her head. And then I'll take the back of it and just kind of bend it down, tuck it in, and glue it down. And now you've got a cute little hat on your deer, and now we're going to take another little piece of those antlers, and I took the tiniest part, wrapping a rubber band around there, and just cut a hole in the hat, pop those in, and that made the deer have some ears. Now once I get this part done, we're going to go ahead and start working on painting just a little nose. I did put a little bead on there and painted over that. Then I had a little burlap ribbon bow, and then I took some berries that I had, and then I took this little greenery piece I had in my craft stash, popped her on there on one of the wood blocks from Dollar Tree. And she's just starting to come together as this beautiful little vignette. I added a little more black paint to the nose, and I put some stick pins in for the eyes. I had this color cinnamon, which kind of reminds me of the color of the actual deer here in our mountains of North Carolina. So I just decided to paint over the what would be the fur of the deer a little bit. You probably could do this before you put the hat on, but I wasn't sure I was going to do this. But once I did, I really liked that it added that more realistic color. But everyone, she is turning out so beautiful. This was such a fun design, like I said. And then I just decided to add more greenery into this. I really wanted to make this look like she was out in the woods and the snow was falling. So I'm going to add a bunch of these snowflakes from Dollar Tree and pop them on the greenery. Then I take some wire that I had, and I'm just going to be gluing in some really thin wire. And the snowflakes are made of that light foam, so they stood up perfectly on here. And you just want to kind of wire them in, twist them around the greenery, and glue them down. And this way I can add some little snowflakes that look like they're coming down over top of her head. But everyone, if you haven't looked in that plus section, definitely look at those little outfits for the pet. They are perfect to create these wonderful, fun designs. And you can create a couple little kind of woodland style little critters out of that. But everyone, here she is. Meet Miss Fiona, the Christmas dough. And I think she couldn't be cuter. And I hope that you enjoyed this one. And I hope that you give this one a try. Now for DIY number 2, we're going to do Snuggly the Snowman. You're going to take another one of the foam cones, and I'm going to be cutting the bottom out of this one, and we're going to cut this out where it looks like legs. And I found out using these cones to create these dolls like this works so well, everyone. Now I'm going to take the masking tape and just tape over that area well. Then I'm going to use one of the white dusters, going to cut that down to size, and we're going to start putting this at the top part of the cone to start making what's going to be the top chest area of the snowman. I like to use these little white dusters. They work so perfectly for the snowman this time of year. Now, once I get this all trimmed down, I'm just going to glue everything down. And you can see where I just wrapped the legs in masking tape. Just cut the shape out that you would like them to be. Now I'm going to take another piece of that material that I used off of that pet outfit. And I like to just pop it over that styrofoam ball, and then just use a rubber band and get it as tight as I can, and then you can kind of pull the fabric down and it makes it really smooth. Then I'm going to go ahead and just clip everything off. Now once I get all of that extra fabric trimmed off, now we can go ahead and make the arms. And I'm going to go back to that fabric again that I used from that pet costume. And I just cut little rectangles and rolled them up. And then I'm going to use the tips of these black gloves and Keep in mind, everyone, all these supplies were from Dollar Tree. And then you just take and pop that little piece of the glove in there. And I was going to have this snowman's arms just laying forward on the chest, so I didn't have to put anything in those either. Now I'm going to take this piece of fabric I picked up at Dollar Tree, and we're going to start forming the pants for the snowman. And I really like this fabric. It was just a real simple light blue with the lines running through it, so it went perfect with the white. And you can see what I'm doing. I'm just wrapping this fabric right around each of the legs and gluing it down. I try to glue mine on the inseam of the legs, and that way it's kind of hid. And then once you get them glued on, you're just going to trim them off. And I trim mine even with the bottom foam part of the tree. And then I took another little piece of that white duster, and I wanted to glue right around the bottom because I'm making this snowman really nice and fluffy. Now I'm going to take some more of the gloves, and I'm just going to glue them right onto the bottom. And because we're going to be gluing this to stand up on another like little vignette scene. Now I'm going to just cut off the wrist part of the glove, and we're going to use that for the hat for the snowman. And I cut one wrist off and put it right there on the head, and then I take the other one and glue one end of it shut so it forms a cap. And then look at these little hair bows that I found. These worked out perfect for a little scarf around the snowman's neck. And then I decided that I would use some to put around the bottom of the pant legs. I just thought they were fun. And then I popped the white one on top of the hat and glued one of those little cotton balls on top. And then I took some of the snowflakes that I had left in the bag. And then I decided to pop a little sprig of greenery in his arms and kind of glued that down. And I think he's absolutely turning out adorable. I did the stick pin thing for the eyes, and the nose, I just took a little piece of the wood skewer and painted it like in a darker shade of orange. And then I made it look like he had another little snowman in his hand. And here I am dotting on the black on the stick pin so I can form his mouth. And now we're going to glue him onto another one of those little wood boards from Dollar Tree. And I decided just to use these little ice crystals. They never show up really well. They're kind of more of a light color, but they look great with the little pine cones on there. And then I decided to make just a little hair bow with the bells to look like it was something hanging off of his wrist. But everyone, look how cute he is. What a fun and simple little vignette created all out of Dollar Tree items. Now for DIY number 3, I'm going to create Elfie the Christmas elf. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to take one of the cones and we're going to cut that bottom out to shape some legs. Now I just made these legs a little bit thinner by cutting off of the side. But everyone, if you haven't tried this, I hope you give this a try. This has given me all kinds of creative ideas to do with different dolls. So I hope that these inspire you today to get creative and to create some Christmas dolls of your own. Once again, taking some more of that fabric that I had left over and doing the rubber band right around there to make it nice and smooth for the head, cutting off the extra fabric. And I decided to use this burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree to do the pant legs on our elf. And this turned out absolutely adorable. I love these colors. And I just started gluing little strips, and I did some on the inseam, and then I decided just to try to make it really smooth across what would be the front part of the pant leg. And then just kept gluing them down. But once I got them all glued on there, they all blended in really well, and it made the perfect little pants for our little elf guy, Elfie. And I'm going to be doing like a maroon jacket for him, so that looks really pretty. Now, I decided to use some rope from Dollar Tree to make the arms. And that worked really well because his arms were just going to kind of be holding the stick. And then this is actually one of those little purses that they have there at Dollar Tree in the little kids section. And I just kind of cut that off because it kind of had like a wool texture to it. So I bought 2 of those and used the back and just made this really simple little shirt that I could put on. Once again, you saw how I did that. Very simple design. Left the back open so I could glue it down on the back because I knew that I wouldn't have to worry about any of the back being seen because we're going to put the jacket over top. But I think those colors go really well. Now this looks a little red in the film, but it's actually more of a deeper kind of wine color. And once again, I'm just going to fold this little rectangle over, and now we're going to start creating the jacket that's going to go over top of his little shirt there. And you can see how simple it is to make these. And once again, I cut that one little slit up there and cut a hole out for the head and just can pop that right on. And look how simple this is, everyone, to create this little jacket. Now, I did want to gather the neck of this one, so I just kind of stitched across there and just pulled it tight. And once I got that done, I was able to, you'll see in a moment, I just kind of flip the fabric over and I'm just going to be gluing that down. And then when I turn it right side out, you're going to be able to pop those little arms right through there. And once again, I do use that Gorilla hot glue, and that works really well to hold the fabric together. I've been using that on the last few dolls I've been making. I've not had any problem. Just make sure you let it dry really well. Now, once I get all those seams, you can see I turned it right side out, and then I just kind of pushed the fabric back out and then just started pushing the arms in there. And everyone, look what a nice little jacket that made for our elf. And then I decided to put a little belt around his waist, and then I'm going to trim the jacket off a little bit because I wanted it a little bit shorter so I could see kind of more of the legs. And now I just had some of this little garland with those cute little puppy balls on there. And I thought that really brought in the Christmas look for this little guy. Took some white felt and just cut out a little belt buckle for him. Added some little cuffs around his sleeves. And you can see already how this little guy is starting to take shape and come together. Now I'm going to take another part of one of those foam trees, and this was just a big chunk that I cut off the bottom of another one I had. And I'm just going to try to cut out a shape that kind of looks like a pair of elf boots. And you don't have to get this perfect, everyone. You just kind of have to get the shape, because once you get it all wrapped up in the masking tape and you put some fabric on it, and I even added a little paint to mine, they're going to be just sitting on the wood block also. So you really want to just kind of focus on getting that pointed toe curling up, because that's what's really going to make it have that look of a pair of elf shoes. And you can see how I'm just kind of making them a little bit narrow and just cutting a little part that looks like the toe where it's curling, and it was really simple to do. So I hope you do get to play with the styrofoam trees and do something a little different with these besides making Christmas trees. And once I get it the way I want it, I'm just going to tape everything up, and then I'm going to be able to put some fabric on here. Now, this is a hair bow, once again, everyone, from Dollar Tree. And I just decided to just start wrapping this around and gluing it down. And it wasn't perfect, but that was okay. And I'm going to add that green paint to it and give it a little bit more of that bright green to look like the elf boots actually do. But everyone, using these little hair bows and the hair bands, they have quite a bit of fabric on them when you're making dolls. So definitely check those out and see if there's some colors that you would like to use when you create your dolls. And you'll have to kind of keep wrapping this and gluing it down. And I like to pull out one of my skewers and just kind of use it to kind of roll the fabric over. And that's why I do paint it. Every once in a while you'll get a little dab of glue that shows through. But look how adorable these are. And that's why I am going to paint them with some green. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these skewers in here. And that's going to help them stand up a little better when I pop them in the bottom of the legs of our little elf guy, Elfie. And look how simple this is, everyone. You can just pop these right in there, and you can already see with the little toes curled up, it looks just like the little elf boots. And I just trim off any little extra fabric that I have. And I just grabbed a green that I had handy and popped those on there. And I thought this looked so cute once I got these all painted. But everyone, I hope you're enjoying these today. I thought it would be really fun and creative to do something completely different with these little foam cones. I know that most of the time we just all make trees, and I have been creating lots of dolls lately, and I just wanted to see if I could come up with these designs for you so you would have some different inspiration to do with the foam cones that you can get at Dollar Tree. Now you can see I'm just gluing him down to his wood base, and now we can start adding all the little accents and the details to him and really start making this little guy come to life. Now I'm just taking some more little felt, and I like to do this a lot. Just kind of glue a piece onto the bottom of the hand area and then just glue another one on top. And once you paint it and add a little something to it, it serves the purpose as being a pair of little mittens or gloves on your little characters that you're creating. Now I did add a little dab of glue to kind of hold the jacket down because I knew I was going to be putting some things in his arms. And I always do this little technique under the arm if I want to make the arms come forward. Just kind of glue them in place to where you want them to be. Now I'm going to make the elf ears, and I thought it would be really fun on this one, everyone, to give him some really big elf ears. So I took 2 pieces of felt. I wanted it to be double layered so they would stand up, and I just kind of cut out a shape that looked like elf ears. And then I'm going to be taking a few paints and mixing them together to get what kind of looks like a little bit of a skin tone color, because I thought that would really make this come to life. And you can make these as big as or small as you want these to be, but I just thought on this little guy, I thought the big ears would look really cute on him. Now here is some pink color, and it's just a really light tan color, and I kind of mixed those together, and it was still a little bit pink, so I got out a little bit of that cinnamon over there, and that really started bringing it together and giving it like a skin tone. I added the skin tone color to the face, the ears, and even the little mittens that are supposed to look like his hands. But everyone, look when I start gluing these little ears on this guy. He could not be cuter. And once I pop a little wooden nose on there, I paint it with the skin tone paint. And then I'm going to take another one of these green hair bows, and I just cut off a couple of those pieces on the bottom, and I'm just going to shape this like a little odd shape, cone shape hat, and I'll paint it with that same green as the little elf shoes, and that will kind of give it a little more depth to it because this is kind of a thin fabric. I got that glued together, stuffed it with some of that pillow stuffing, and then I decided to gather it at the bottom, and I wanted to make it kind of small, just where it would fit right between the ears. And then I even go up the side a little bit and make it a little bit more narrow. And then I just pop that right on there. And everyone, look once I get this hat on here. And then I add the little band around the bottom of the hat. I added those needle eyes. And he is absolutely adorable. Took some snowballs and just popped around the base area. I had some of these little wood pieces because this little guy has been out hunting supplies to make Christmas toys. Put a few sprigs of greenery and some of these twigs that I had in my craft stash. And then I just thought I'd put a little bundle right up in his hand. And then I decided that I was going to add some bells on his shoes and on this little stick on the side here. But everyone, while we're finishing him up, I hope that you enjoyed all of these dolls today, and I hope that you can get really creative with the Christmas cones from Dollar Tree and create something a little different than the Christmas tree. Well, everyone, here this little guy is, and he could not be cuter. If you had a favorite, leave that in the comments, and if you haven't already subscribed, I hope you consider doing so. And if you are a subscriber, thank you so much for your support. And everyone, I will see you in a few days. Have a wonderful rest of the week.